You could have gone on happily skipping along the road of life, but you just had to have that baby, huh? Hey guys, it's Devin Harrington, the average Gen Xer. Welcome back to my channel, or welcome if you are new here. On this channel, I talk about things that interest me, and today we are looking at a collection of posts from the Regretful Parents subreddit that are written by regretful moms who say that childbirth and pregnancy in general ruined their bodies. And it's pretty tragic. This is a subject that, for some reason, in this age where everybody has their whole life on social media, women still don't talk about what can happen during pregnancy and childbirth. So let's get to those posts. But before we do that, on this channel, I like to encourage all animal lovers to please consider contacting your local animal shelter and fostering or volunteering on site. It is good for the soul, it's good for the world, it's good for the animals. So if you love animals, please consider fostering. And now on to the video. As always, please remember we don't share these posts to shame or mock these unhappy parents in any way. It's just to bring awareness to the fact that having a baby and raising a child is no joke and is not suitable for everyone. And people should only do it when they have been thoroughly informed of the risks and what is entailed in the process. So let's get to the first post, and it is by user Centennial Incognito. Pregnancy messes up your body more than you think. And she says, I have growing resentment towards my spouse because of how he downplays the changes pregnancy made to my body. And it's not your cute, oh, you're still beautiful. No, every time I complain about my weight gain was due to pregnancy, he goes and says, it's not because you got pregnant, it's because you're eating too much. What an asshole. No shit, Sherlock. And why did I start eating more? Because you got me pregnant twice. Men really don't understand that when you get pregnant, you quite literally have to gain weight in order to keep the baby healthy. In return, your stomach stretches out because now you're eating way more than you used to. And then you're stuck with the weight after birth, and then comes breastfeeding. I was hungry and thirsty at all hours of the day after giving birth. I stopped breastfeeding recently and was also put on a medication due to vertigo, which has weight gain as a side effect. Yikes. I am 43 pounds heavier than before my kids, as if having to go through a pregnancy and childbirth twice, she said, is not enough torture. There's the weight gain and having a hard time losing it. I mean, it just adds insult to injury. I really think that, we always see the pregnant celebrity coming out of the hospital holding the baby, wearing tiny Daisy Duke shorts and looking exactly like they looked before they got pregnant. And that's not reality. She goes on, I used to eat like a bird and would feel full with small amounts of food. Now the same amount doesn't even fill half of my stomach. And let's not even talk about the expectations, beauty standards, and many men have that we have to bounce back, exactly, to our pre-pregnancy weight. Meanwhile, men gain weight doing what? What's your excuse? And nobody gives a shit when dads put on weight. Well, I would probably think that their wives do, but yeah, men definitely have it easier than women, for sure. And they don't seem to have any concept of how difficult it is to carry a growing fetus in your body and still do your life. And then to go through childbirth, it's horrifying. Okay, the comments on this one. Powerful Patient 765 says, have you looked into pelvic floor physical therapy? Okay, the pelvic floor PT thing, I have told this story a million times on this channel, and the short version is that I had burning urethra. That's so embarrassing to say, but I had that for 35 years. I was diagnosed with this bullshit condition called interstitial cystitis, which is just so they have something that they can write a code on your paperwork. True interstitial cystitis, in my opinion, because I have studied it extensively for 35 years, is very rare. And it's something that men and women can get. So I carried this horrible diagnosis around. It's known to be incurable. There is no cure. I had an esteemed gynecologist tell me, oh, well, there's no cure. You'll never be cured. You know that, right? Only to find out at the age of 48, and yes, I am bitter and resentful about the way this played out. At 48, my urologist, having gone through the entire arsenal in her prescription knowledge, said, well, why don't you go to pelvic floor PT, because that's the last thing. That's the last thing I have to throw at you. And I actually had decent insurance, so I went twice a week for about 6 months, and I think by month 3, the pain was noticeably relieved. And then by month 5, and then thereafter, I felt normal. The pain was gone. And the pain was caused by a muscle that was in spasm my whole life, apparently, that clamps down on the female urethra to hold it in place. So all of my suffering could have been relieved when I was 16, when it started with pelvic floor PT. So do not underestimate the power of a good pelvic floor physical therapist. Okay, so getting back to this post, I actually missed the first comment, which is from Professional Key 5552. And they say, true, and all the problems that come afterwards. Like now, after one pregnancy, when I sneeze, I always lose some pee because the muscles just don't go back as they were before. And my skin got hypersensitive after the second pregnancy. Centennial Incognito, the original poster, commented, I was diagnosed with diastasis recti and a prolapse level 1. I assume she's talking about a prolapsed uterus, which means it's kind of falling out of the body. I'm not a doctor or any kind of medical professional, so don't use that as any kind of medical advice. She goes on, my husband still blames it on me for not doing the exercises I found online. This woman's husband is a total douche. I literally had to look for the diagnosis myself before going to the doctor because they never tell you or ask you if you pee when you sneeze. Having children is just horrible on your body, and you're left with the aftermath without any information. Well, in the States, maybe that's because they don't want you to know how terrible it is, because then you might not want to do it. Centennial Incognito OP commented, if pelvic floor therapy exists in my country, okay, so they're not in the US, I can assure you I can't afford it. With 2 neurodivergent kids, they suck up all the resources, quite literally. This Unrest commented, there's a bunch of pelvic floor workouts on YouTube if you're ever curious. Yeah, there's a bunch of stuff. And you also would want to look into 478 breathing. which is a breathing technique that I learned from my PT. And it really helps in relaxing your whole body. Okay, moving on. This unrest goes on. They aren't the same as a professional assessment, but it's free, and you don't have to schedule an appointment around the ones you're already juggling. I saved a few of them. Hell, someday I might even use them. Lol. Centennial Incognito replied, I've always wondered if those exercises are just a band aid, because if I stop doing them, wouldn't my body revert back? No, that's the point. You are retraining the muscles to be stronger and to be more resilient and to be in the correct place. What's the point in doing them then? I was told the only solution for that is surgery. Of course, surgery. You know why? Because you can't copyright pelvic floor physical therapy. You can't copyright the human hands. You can't get a patent on the one finger they put inside you and just press very lightly on a spot that hurts and just stay there for 2 minutes while you breathe. Like, the medical world doesn't even see that as medical, and they can't make money off of it. So that's why they suggest everything else before that. Okay, last comment. Doc DZ commented, second this. There are a million things that come with postpartum that aren't within our control, but your core and pelvic floor aren't one of them. Pelvic floor physio will address all of your muscular and urogenital concerns: stress, incontinence, leakage, improved orgasm, treat prolapse, and heal diastasis recti, which is when your abdominals split from pregnancy. Also helps with bringing your rib cage back down. Yeah, I never knew how much pregnancy distorts the human body, because we're all told, oh, well, it's no big deal. That's what women are built to do. But that is not true. I mean, animals of all kinds die in childbirth, and humans especially, and especially in the US. I think the US now holds the record for the highest death in childbirth rate for women in the civilized world. Well done, US. Okay, moving on. Next post, and this is from user TinyDriver1754. 11 months postpartum and my entire life is falling apart. I'm a professional singer and I had a baby 11 months ago. So this baby is almost a year old. I had no idea this life shift would end my professional life. My voice changed, my body changed, my mind is foggy, my career is over. Yeah, I've actually heard that quite a bit from postpartum women on this sub, saying, they used to sing all the time, even just cleaning the house or whatever, and now they can't sing. And that's, this woman is a professional singer, and that is just horrible. I just want to say, why? You could have gone on happily skipping along the road of life, but you just had to have that baby, huh? It's one of the hardest things to accept about motherhood. I wouldn't have had a baby had I known it would ruin my life. That is just so sad. So sad. So many women on here say they didn't know. I mean, you can Google literally anything. You can learn literally anything on YouTube. I searched on YouTube the other day how to be a long distance dominatrix, and there was a whole channel about it. That's another story, though. But with all the information at our fingertips, I mean, we all carry around the sum total of man's entire collection of knowledge. Anything that man has discovered, you can find it there. And yet, women, because it's natural to get pregnant if you're fertile, They figure, oh, well, I'll just roll with it. And nobody tells them all the things that could change. You think, oh, well, my body's going to be under stress because of the pregnancy, and, that'll be okay, and everything will go back where it's supposed to. And unfortunately, that's not the case. And here is a comment from SD Cookie. My grandmother once told me she used to sing all day, but since she gave birth, she couldn't sing anymore, couldn't stay in tune anymore. I was always surprised this was possible, but apparently it is. I'm so sorry. That Squirrel 190 said, man, I hate this for you. Accepting the changes of a new addition to the family can be very rough, especially when it took away something you really want to keep pursuing. Yeah, now just imagine, this mom is going to see the death of her passion, her career, every time she looks at her kid. It's just such a waste to keep bringing new people into the world when the world is overpopulated, in my humble opinion, of course. Too many fucking people in the world, and too many indiscriminately breeding people that just think they're supposed to have a kid, so let's go have one, and they're not prepared in some way, and then they end up on this sub. Liz P 1959 said, a lot of us feel this way. Sorry to welcome you to the club. How much does that suck? Optimal ad 3564. Pregnancy is debilitating and ruins almost everything about a woman's body. And in hearing that, all I can think of is my great grandma on my mom's side. My grandfather was the youngest of 15. They're French Catholics. But 15, and those are the ones that lived. There was other pregnancies in there, or even other births, and children died very young or were stillborn, whatever. 15 fucking pregnancies in the early 20th century. I mean, what kind of shape was this poor woman's body? And no wonder they died at like 60. My great-grandparents, both of them. Just such a waste. Now, maybe back in the early 20th century, when everything was dirt-ass cheap and there was plenty of land because there were like 2 billion people on the planet, maybe, not even. Maybe it was okay to have 15 children for religious reasons. But think of how women were treated in we're talking like 1900, and my grandfather was born 1921 or 2. I cringe to think of what my poor great grandma went through. 15 pregnancies. What kind of sense does that make? None. Okay, moving on here. Neuro Umbrage commented, pregnancy and or having a baby can change your voice? I'd never heard about that before. How did it change? MSIMMZZ said, it seems it can lower the voice and make it more monotonous because it reduces variation in pitch. For most, it's temporary, though, and generally returns to normal within a year post-birth. Tiny Driver, the OP, says, yes, exactly. I'm known for being able to sing very high. My voice lowered dramatically, and my breath support isn't strong. Exhaustion from being up all night with the baby affects your voice directly. It's powerful how sad this is. God, this is so depressing. Okay, the next post is from Centennial Incognito, and it says, the aftermath of delivery killed my sex drive. Venting, no advice. And she says, I had 2 natural deliveries. There is so much that goes into it, and no doctor prepares you for it. The 21st century we are in. No doctor prepares you to give birth? Like the doctor that's going to assist in getting the baby out? So stupid. On my first delivery, I got an episiotomy without my consent. I don't live in the US. No hope for retaliation. Yeah, in the US, you can sue someone for anything. Take everything they got. And needed stitches down there. Second time, I was left with a mild prolapse that makes me prone to urinary tract infections, especially after sex. Same girl, same. I know what that's like. I am left with burning sensation where I pee every single time. Now, see, this woman needs pelvic floor PT desperately, but no one's going to tell her that. I mean, no doctor is going to tell her that until the kid is probably graduating from high school. And then they'll say, oh, yeah, let's try pelvic floor PT. That's the last thing we have to throw at you. Unbelievable. She goes on. I am in a sexless marriage because my sex life has been compromised after children. I resent my partner because men don't suffer absolutely anything when it comes to pregnancy. Nope, they sure don't. Delivery and nursing, and eventually the tension in the relationship gets reduced to how often sex is given. That's all there is for most men, sex. My husband has made comments when seeing me naked saying, what a waste. Oh my God. Like me not giving him my body is a waste. Oh, Jesus Christ. I've read this comment from other men all over the internet. Like, if a woman is single by choice, etc., they really think we are wasting our bodies because we're not giving it to some man. That adds to the lack of desire for sex. I can go months without craving anything at all. Well, why would you with a fucking husband like that? What a prince. The fact that we can't even enjoy sex without one of our kids interrupting or quickly trying to climax because one of them can get up and we will have to attend their needs is exhausting. Sex is like a fucking chore, not enjoyable anymore. Yikes. I say yikes too much, don't I? Far Slice 3821 commented, it's cruel how our bodies can be destroyed by pregnancy or childbirth while the father isn't even expected to do half of the infant care. Yeah, even still today, they'll say the husband is watching the baby. The husband is babysitting the baby while the wife goes out. No, the husband is taking care of his kid, just like the wife takes care of her kid. Melly Millie said, no wonder the passion is gone with such a stupid comment from your man. You're not an appliance he bought that sits idle without use. I hate the idea that relationship would be primarily for sex. It makes it feel gross right away, even without painful bodily changes. Yeah, that's, ugh. Not married, no children is the way to go. Chronically Jenna commented, from a place of support and respect, sex and intimacy is not based on penetration alone. There are so many ways to connect with a partner, and your significant other saying things like, what a waste, is incredibly inconsiderate and selfish. Yeah, does he think that's going to turn her on? God, what an idiot. If he truly cared about your feelings, he would assure you that you are desirable with or without traditional sex. I'm so sorry you're in this position. Maybe don't be so hard on yourself. And then the OP commented, he says I'm desirable in the context that other men think I'm attractive and I might be cheating. Okay, this guy's a fucking narcissist. Insecure little bitch. Ma'am, please run. Take your children and run. She goes on, I'm refusing, and I might be cheating because I'm refusing intimacy. So the logical thing is, there must be someone else, right? I'm in a position where I don't want anybody to touch me anymore. I recoil just by thinking of sex. I was a victim of child SA 2. It's pretty grim getting to the realization that men truly only want sex. My experience has taught me no matter how loving a man is, sex is the ultimate thing they will always want. Oh my goodness. And then Andappa said, "Welcome to radical feminism. Truly, my heart breaks for you and all women who go through the trauma of birth and have to deal with infantile men as well." Amen, sis. Okay, next post is from user Kanga and Pooh, and it's called "A Child Ruined My Life, Body, and Mind." And this is also venting, no advice. And she says, "Prior to having a baby, I was an accomplished scientist, an athlete, a social butterfly, and I had a banging body. I had a dog who was my adorable sidekick. I spoke multiple languages fluently. I had many diverse interests and hobbies, traveled multiple times a year, and always had a packed social schedule. Sounds like heaven. Sounds like an ideal life. Why do you want to fuck it all up by getting knocked up?" She goes on. "Pregnancy was fraught with complications, and I had to stop all my physical activities. I was constantly drained and slept. Depression set in. All my coping all my copings were thrown out the window. I found out I was having a girl, and I never wanted one. I wasn't exactly sold on having kids, but you did it anyway to please the man. But having a girl was a fear because of my own mother's abuse, tainting the idea of a mother-daughter relationship. A few weeks after the baby was born, all texts checking in stopped. People soft offered to visit, to help, or even drop off a meal, and all of that was fake. Only one friend dropped off one meal. People only asked about the baby, not me. And when the texts and offers completely stopped, I guess sharing that the baby was not well or sick was a mistake, and I should have put on a fake face and lied about how motherhood is so perfect and how the baby is so cute. The baby started having feeding issues, actual diagnosed medical issues, and not gaining weight. She's small for her age and still feeds every 2 hours because of her medical issues. Every 2-hour block is spent feeding her or consoling her, and there's maybe a 15-minute cat nap in there. She doesn't sleep. She screams, she fusses, and it's an endless nightmare. My poor dog is starved for attention and love, which I cannot give to her because my hands are constantly busy. I'm lucky if I can poop in peace. Sometimes I poop with the baby in my hands because she's inconsolable, and her cries bring on vomiting spells that projectile all over the carpet. Her clothes, my clothes. Jesus Christ. You gave all that up to be a mom? And you weren't even really sold on the idea? This is the kind of stupid decision that I want people to stop making. Just because you can have sex for 3 minutes, if you're lucky, and get pregnant is no reason to just give up your whole life. If you don't absolutely know in your bones that you want to be a parent, then you should not have children, in my humble opinion. She goes on, all my time is spent keeping her fed and calm. Calmness may be only a few minutes per day. The rest of her day is spent screaming and vomiting. This is awful. All advice about swaddles, swaying, shushing, calm music, etc. does not work on her. She's like a little demon. She's the incarnation of the curse my own mother gave to me. Oh God, this is so sad. That I will have a daughter and she will make my life a living hell. Living hell is an understatement. This was a huge mistake. I want to die. I just dream about falling asleep because I am so sleep deprived. But then I also dream about never waking back up. Yes, I'm in therapy and seeing a psychiatrist. No, I don't have the means to fix this or get some respite. The baby is in medical treatment and under constant medical supervision due to her slow growth. I don't have the money to hire a babysitter because the baby's medical costs are exorbitant. I get help maybe once a week, if that, for a few hours from a well meaning family member who will come over, make a mess in the house as they help, and then get to leave this hellhole where I am left alone with the screams. The baby's father tries to help after work, but our relationship is now ruined. All we do is talk about the baby's medical issues, and we don't have time for ourselves. There is no love, no affection, no snuggles, no sex. Ugh. Why? Why would, I mean, I am convinced that there's like some gene in our DNA that causes us to want to reproduce, and I just don't have that gene. And those who are staunchly child free, like we're missing a chromosome or something, I just cannot imagine doing this, wrecking my relationship, my health, my body, my sanity. For what? To raise a screaming little brat with no guarantees that this person that you just created is going to amount to anything, and bringing them into this world? No, no, no. Please, girl, no. Aggressive Staff 982 commented, people don't really talk about the realities of having a baby and what it does to a woman's body. They also don't talk about what happens to the people in your life after you have a baby. Sorry you're going through this, OP. Sorry you're going through this, OP. I think people have to start talking about these things. We should have been talking about this since time immemorial. Usually when I hear someone talk about having a baby, it's usually done in a joking, oh, it's horrible and you'll get no sleep kind of way, and not a shit, my life is turned upside down and I have zero support kind of way. Piper Zark commented, and not only do they not talk about it, but some go on to have 3+ babies after their first, making people think, wow, it must be crazy wonderful if so many people keep having more. Which is why I am going to hammer home this point in every single child-free video. If you didn't babysit as a kid, if you don't have a plethora of younger siblings that you had to help with, if you have no clue what it's like to have a baby, but then, oops, she's pregnant, for fuck's sake, go volunteer at a school, at a kindergarten, at a nursery school, at a preschool, at a children's shelter. Go somewhere and be around all these kids and their energy, especially infants, go to a hospital and just look at the infants in the freaking window. It's not, people really romanticize, and we're fed this by Disney and every other rom-com, how wonderful it is to have children. And it's like they want you to be brainwashed and not think about it. Well, if you're gonna be a parent, you gotta fucking think about it. And that is because, as which Basil 9747 says, because that's not the case for everyone. Okay, moving on. Which Basil 9747 says, because that's not the case for everyone. It's not the case that everyone hates being a parent, obviously. For some people, it really does go just fine. But just because you see other high-functioning, successful couples breeze through parenting doesn't mean you will. For example, sounds like OP has serious childhood trauma and a lifestyle that maybe doesn't leave a lot of room for kids. And the OP commented, I do wish people were more real about all this. Thank you. Oh, that doesn't help her problem, And that is the problem, is there is no customer service desk to take the kid back to. Once you decide to go through with that pregnancy, It's the rest of your life. Okay, moving on to the next post, and it is by PP Throwaway 9500. It's not worth it. It's so hard, but it's worth it. This is the parenting mantra. I've heard it from everyone since I was first pregnant, but really, it's not. The kid is 18 months old. She's sweet and smart, but incredibly high strung. Her tantrums are frequent and intense. She doesn't sleep. She goes through strong parent preference, and when she wants dad, she hates me, like cries if I get anywhere near her. Pregnancy left me with permanent physical issues, not to mention how I'll never be attractive again. Now, see, I swear some women like use having children as a good reason to just give up on themselves. And I don't know that that's, her state of mind. But anyway, she goes on. She wakes up for at least an hour every night and gets up every single day at 5:15 a.m. So I can't even exercise before she wakes up, something that used to keep me sane. She's been sleep trained over and over again for a year. It doesn't matter. By the time bedtime comes, I'm so tired I can barely stay awake to have time with my sweet husband. Oh, well, that's nice that she has a sweet husband. Why did I ruin my body and my life to have a child who rejects me, who screams like she's being tortured over every minor inconvenience, who will not sleep no matter how many sleep books and courses and consultants I pay for? Even worse, I'm accidentally expecting number 2. No, why? I used to want a huge family and thought I would love being a mom, but it sucks. Oh my God. I hope it gets better, but I've been saying that for over a year. The kid is a year and a half old. And she added, edit, lots of questions about baby number 2 and getting downvotes for not being sterilized. I am a struggling Catholic where sterilization is a pretty serious sin. So while it's definitely something I'm weighing, it requires a lot of soul searching. I have no words. I have no fucking words. This situation is ridiculous. She doesn't say how Catholic she is. Are you like going to mass every Sunday Catholic? Fish on Fridays Catholic? And there are plenty of Catholics who have been sterilized for medical reasons. God, the church doesn't want you to be sterilized even if you're losing your fucking sanity. Don't get me started about the Catholic Church, okay? Let's not go there. Baby number 2 was conceived despite natural family planning, colloquially Catholic birth control, where I take my temperature and cervical mucus daily. What, ma'am, you're going to have way more than 2 kids if you keep this up. I have since learned, obviously, that based on my cycle, this is not an infallible method. Duh! If this prevents you from being able to sympathize with me, that's okay. I understand. And I struggle with Catholic beliefs myself. Then fucking walk away. Jesus. You're letting the invisible man in the sky and his book direct your life, and you are miserable. Look at the facts there. But it's not as easy as just deciding to sterilize or abort when raised to believe both decisions would send me to hell. Second edit, in case someone finds this someday, it's been 7 months since I posted this, and I am feeling much better. If you're reading this because you find yourself feeling similarly, it really does get better. Hang in there. Third edit, feeling even better now. Dare I say, it's starting to feel worth it. There is hope. Fourth edit, kids are now 3 and 1. It feels worth it now. I hope this helps someone someday. Well, that's nice, but not everyone's life is going to mirror that, because There's so many posts on this sub where people are saying, everyone tells me it's going to get better, and my kid is 15 and it never got better. Okay, the comments on this one. Bon Natale said, if one baby is bad, two will be worse. Don't do that to yourself. Yeah. And someone who deleted their account added, don't do that to the kid as well. An unwanted child pays a heavy price for the bad decision of the parent. I completely sympathize with OP over the first one, but actively doing it a second time? Yikes on bikes. Big Apple 4 a.m. says, maybe you and your husband should consider sterilization so no more accidents happen. Sailor Chibi says, I'm pretty sure that most parents who say it's worth it are just trying to convince themselves that it is because they can't face the reality that it isn't. And she is not a parent. And she is correct. I mean, it may get better, for some people, but that's not going to be the case for everyone. And what do those people do when it never gets better? And their kids grow up and leave the house and barely talk to them anymore? It never got better. And then the parents resent the kids because they gave up their life to raise the kids. And it's just a big clusterfuck of nothingness. Just don't have children. Not everybody needs to have children. Oh, God, I wish I was in charge of the world. Okay, last post, and it's by someone who deleted their account. Does anyone else can't stand their mom bod? The body has been completely destroyed, and I can't stop mourning my pre-pregnancy body. I keep comparing myself to my old body, and it kills me how much my body has changed and aged horribly since entering motherhood. No, the thoughts of knowing I created beautiful life and my body has done a wonderful thing doesn't help me at all. No, it has not done a wonderful thing. It has done a biological process that is happening somewhere on the planet every second of every day. It's not a miracle. It's not something wonderful to have your hoo-ha ripped apart. See, she's trying to make it worth it. I hate my body and it makes me want to die. I am forever trapped in this ugly, stretched out, saggy meat skin and it makes me endlessly miserable. No one talks about all the changes to your body that will happen during pregnancy, and I wished I was warned about it. You could read this subreddit and be plenty warned about it. In fact, this sub should be required reading for anyone who gets pregnant or gets their girl pregnant. And someone else who deleted their account commented, no matter how hard you prepare yourself to become a mother, you're never ready for it. It sucks. I feel your pain. Same shit is happening to me. I look at my old pictures and I miss my young and beautiful body. I can't believe that I wasted those amazing years thinking that I'm fat. I'm fat right now. I can't stand myself. I can't look at myself. My husband doesn't touch me, and my son reminds me of life before his birth. What is the point of all this misery? It doesn't serve anything. I mean, she's going to raise her kid, but why is it worth it? I mean, somebody explain to me. Because, like I said earlier, I am missing whatever in a woman's brain makes her want to get pregnant and reproduce, and then forget how much it sucked and reproduce again and again and again. I don't have that. I have like the foster puppy version of that. Okay, last comment. Death pays for life. That's what really gets me. Like, I actually thought I was fat before. I would kill to have that old body back. I totally get where you're coming from. And on that happy note, that's what I got for you today, guys. If you like this video, please like it. Please leave a comment. I would love to hear from parents out there. I would love to hear from more child-free people who are as confused as I am as to why people do this to themselves. I so appreciate everyone who has subscribed. We are almost up to 1,900 subs, and I thank every one of you. When I started this channel, I couldn't imagine even 100 people wanting to listen to me talk shit online. So thank you, thank you, thank you. And I will see you guys in the next video. Thank you so much.